Sam, Tally and Farrell, and also Megan and Sven here from Board of It, and welcome to our preview video for Dog Park. When this video is released, Dog Park is currently doing very well on Kickstarter, so we'll put the link to the game below in the description box, or if you're watching this in the distant future, maybe you can still pre-order the game.
Yep, and Dog Park is excellent fun, as we've been given the preview copy by Birdwood Games, and well, we've just had a great time, and we're going to talk you through it. We're going to show you how to play, or at least talk you through how to play, and then as we do that, we're going to talk about what we liked, what we didn't like, what we thought, things like that. But in terms of what Dog Park's about, in my own headcanon, it's a game about 4 friends going walking in a field, and this field is populated entirely by unique dogs, especially with one for each person. So then you all decide to have a good bet on who can raise the best dogs. And you take them home, and then you walk them, and you feed them, give them toys. And at the end, the happiest dogs win.
You have a very vivid imagination. Yes. I think you're just a dog walker, recruiting dogs and taking them to the park, but you do you. Yeah,
fine. But I prefer mine. In mechanical terms, there's actually quite a few different mechanics going on here. It's quite fun. You have auction, which is always fun. It's always one of our favourite mechanics. Then you also have some resource management. You have some worker placement. And you actually, you aim for some objectives, you go for some set collection, you want to have the most of certain types of dogs, and it's all good fun. But let's not waste time and go to the dog park.
So I'll just start by saying that Dog Park is for 1 to 4 players, and you play over 4 rounds, with each round split into 4 distinct phases. We're firstly going to talk about phase 1, of course, and I'll just say a little bit about how it goes, and then we'll move on to phase 2, 3 and 4, and just say a little bit about what we like. So phase 1 is the field, and there's a selection of dogs to bid for, essentially. And everyone has a secret bidding wheel. Everyone will take it in turns to make a secret bid for a dog. So I'm going to bid 2, but it's a secret. And then I want to go for this dog. So I'll place my walker in the queue. And then everyone else makes a bid and places their walker either behind you in the queue if they're going for the same dog, or obviously on each respective dog that they're trying to obtain. The interesting thing is about bidding is that you're actually using your victory points, which are called reputation points in Dog Park. So everyone starts off the game with 5 reputation points, and you can bid a maximum of 5 for each dog. You always have to bid a minimum of 1 as well. So that's really interesting for us, that you're actually kind of risk reward. Oh, should I bid more of my reputation points to get the dog that I really want? Therefore, losing more reputation points though, but maybe that dog will get you more reputation points in the end. It's a constant battle in your own head.
It's probably one of my favourite aspects of the entire game, just because you go through this 4 times, and so you have this phase 4 times, so you play 4 rounds of the game, but you also bid on 2 dogs. And so every time you bid, because you're chipping away at your victory points or reputation points, it's such a dilemma, because like you say, there could be a dog. So it's important, actually, we should side note. So one of the things that you'll aim for the entire game is these breed expert awards, and the dog cards has a name of the dog, has resource cost on them, it has a fact, and it has a power. And the powers will activate in final scoring when you're taking them for a walk or when you're picking them for a walk. And so they're split into these breeds. And, you've got gun dog, utility toy, and it's kind of based around their purpose or their classic purpose, historical purpose, which the facts will tell you, which I also really love. I've learned a lot. And for these, you will get victory points. So in this case, if you have the most gun dogs out of anyone or a tie, then you or the tied players will get 8 victory points or reputation points, which is a lot. Whereas down here, working dogs, they're not very popular this year for some reason, which I think is a shame. and there you'll only get 2 points for having the most. So a lot of what you're bidding for is to do with these awards, or maybe objectives that you get given at the beginning of the game, which are kept secret. But this is what drives what you want to bid for, and it also has a set collection style because you want to keep pace with everyone else. So this is the trick in that you could bid 5 to get a gun dog in this instance, but you know, you're only getting 8 points for having the most. So is it worth that balance of spending that much to get this dog? And maybe it'll work for you in other ways, but you really got to always weigh up, like, you're spending these points.
Yeah, what's the net gain of the dog?
Exactly.
And also there's a risk there if you go first, because you take it in order to make your secret bid and then place your walker, that you might bid out the maximum because you really want this dog and you think that everyone else also wants it, and then everyone else just places their walker on the other dogs.
That's painful.
Therefore, you've wasted 5 points. So there's
really
that
painful
element of risk reward as well.
Yeah, even if you don't go all out, even if you just bid 2 or 3, it's still really painful when no one else. Because I think one thing to say as well, as a side note, because we'll come back to it, we said this is for 1 to 4 players. We haven't played the solo mode because obviously we played together. The 2-player is a slight variant in that you just have a fake third player and you kind of roll dice to see what they bid or what they move, and it works fine. It's like not very different than playing with 3 players, I think. So that's totally fine if you want to play as a couple. What we would say is that it just is inherently better out of 4 players, just because this is more interactive than most Euro games are.
Yeah.
So because you have an auction mechanic, and we'll get to a worker placement later, but it's kind of move and worker placement, and so it just works a little better with 4, and
it's
like
a bit more tense, isn't it? And more fun,
and exciting, and in keeping with this, the point I wanted to make is that the turn order will move every round, and turn order is really important because being last is quite important in the bidding phase because you get to see what everyone else does, and then make your bet with all that knowledge. Whereas if you go first, you might have to swing high and then you don't know. And then in the later phase, well, we'll get to that, I guess.
Yeah, everyone makes their bid, and then what will happen is that you reveal your secret bids, and if you're the highest in the queue for that dog, then you will obviously get the dog, and anyone else behind you in the queue, they don't lose the full points that they bid, but they always will lose 1, and then they will end up with another dog. So there's always 1 for each person, and so on. And yeah, like Farrell said, you do this twice each round. So by the end of the game, you'll likely end up with 8 dogs.
Yeah. And once you've done that, is there anything else you want to say about the auction?
No, don't think so. Just that we do really enjoy it, but like we said, maybe a little bit more fun at 4 players, but still enjoyable.
Yeah,
at 2 and 3 as well.
So then you have what's called the select phase. And so you once you get these 2 dogs, they come in your kennel, like so. And then you have to pick what dogs you want to take on a walk. Now you can take up to 3, and the more the better, because you get points for walking them. And if you have any unwalked dogs, then you get minus points. And the way it works is that you have all these lovely resources over here, which are all little custom ones. So you have toys and bones and sticks, which are, charming. And essentially, you just pay to walk them. So this Chinese crested, dog wants 2 sticks. And so you give her 2 sticks and she's happy to go on a walk. I don't know why dogs need to be bribed to go on a walk, but...
some do, to be fair. Some do.
And then obviously I've got a Staffordshire Bull Terrier here. Yes. And they need 2 toys, probably because they've destroyed both of them.
That's so true.
And anyway, so you pay these resources, and I think you quite like to talk about this aspect of where you kind of spin it out.
Yeah, I think it's a really nice puzzle because the dogs have powers attached to them. So you kind of want to be thinking about what combinations that you can put together when you take the dogs on the walk, especially the ones that have powers where they get activated on the walk. So it could be something like if you gain a stick, gain an extra tennis ball or something like that. you'd really just want to make sure that you are combination building. So you could put one into play that is saying, when you select this dog, get an extra resource.
Yeah.
And then that extra resource might allow you to then take another dog out on a walk and so on. So there's a bit of a puzzle as to which ones you take for a walk. You also want to make sure that you're taking every dog that you get for a walk, because like Farrell said, you get minus points if you don't. But then some cards and some dogs have scoring, final scoring, where you get extra points if you've taken them for more than one walk. Yeah. So you always have to think about, should I take that dog that needs to go out for 2 walks for a walk and then leave another one and get minus points for that, but I'll get points in the end. Yeah. Again, it's always risk reward throughout all of the phases in this game. Each phase is very distinct, but the overarching theme is very much risk reward. I think that's, again, one of our favorite parts, is that everything's a pretty chunky decision to be had. And actually it has quite a light, we haven't talked about the complexity, but it has quite a light area of entry. Like, I feel comfortable introducing this to my family without too many hiccups, but also we can get a lot out of it through all the different mechanisms and everything. Definitely. And the thing is, even if a game's easy, if every choice is meaningful, then the ease doesn't matter so much. It doesn't negate away from the game, even though we like big, heavy, chunky games. Yeah. And it's like you say, like the first one with the bidding, you've got this thing of, should I just spend 1 and get this, less optimal dog, but then I haven't spent all these victory points? Or, and here it's about what you pay and the way you work through it. Yeah. And I also love that the powers that each dog has is typically related to maybe what their breed characteristics are. So some of mine here, like one's a social butterfly, so he gets, sorry, our actual dogs are very distracting. They're being incredibly weird and they are. Cute. Finally, we had 2 cameras. Many apologies. Yeah, they are being extremely weird. But I have a dog here that's a social butterfly, so his power activates when you're out on the walk, and one's a hoarder, so you get points for having resources left over at the end of the game. So that's a really cute touch as well. Yeah, and I think I want to note that all of these cards are unique. Yeah. And while you will have some of the same breed, but it'll be different variants of that breed, so they're still unique. Yeah. But the powers aren't, because obviously that would be probably wildly unbalanced. Mm-hmm. But there's definitely a good variety of them. Yeah, definitely. So anyway, once you've selected your dogs, you move them up here to put them on the lead. And then you will go to the next phase, which is walking them. And this is like a move and worker placement type phase, where you can move between 1 and 4 spaces. And then you will get basically whatever the image is printed. So mainly, this is how you pick up resources to pay for the dogs you want to walk next time. Yeah. But there's also a few other tricks here, like you can pick up reputation points, or there's ones that let you kind of alter what dogs are in the field for the next round. So you can kind of look ahead, and then maybe if there's one that you want more, you can swap it in. Or then there's this one, they'll let you swap a dog from your kennel with one from here, which is quite powerful in that if you're trying to go for, most gun dogs, and there's a gun dog sitting there, and you have one that's, a working dog, it's not worth very much, you can swap it out. And so you'll keep moving, everyone moves between 1 and 4 spaces, gets what's printed on the space, goes round and round. And the first person to get out goes to the top of this little track, and they will get a number of VPs, and it varies depending on how many players there are. 3 if you have 4 players, or just 2 if you have 3 or less, and then so on and so on till the last player out actually gets a negative reputation point. And the theory being that it's risk reward again, where if you stay out longer you're going to get more resources and then you get punished. Mm-hmm. But it's reminiscent of parks in a way, very except much. You don't have 2 hikers, you have just 1 walker and their dog. Oh, sorry. Just to get that, so one thing in parks is that you can't land on another person's space without flipping your campfire. Whereas here you can land on another person's space, but you have to pay a reputation point to get the reward of that space. Yeah, again, very risk reward. Should I lose that reputation point to get that resource I really need? Do I really need that bone? Yes, you do need that bone. Yeah, it's again kind of adding some tension as well, because it's the race to the end. Like, should you stay out on the walk, on the trail a little bit longer, collect more resources, but then that might allow you to walk more dogs next time, which will get you more points in the end? Or should you just race to the end and get them guaranteed 3 points and only pick up a couple of resources? It's really interesting mechanism. Again, I suppose this ties back to what we said at the beginning about it being more tense with more players.
Yeah.
Because when there's only 2 of you, well, I guess you have the third player variant as well, so 3 or 4. Obviously, there's less people out on the trail, so less people to get in your way. So I think when we were playing at 4 players, I was definitely just spending reputation points a lot more, landing on other people's spaces, because you need to get those resources, because the trail got a lot more clogged up. So that was, I don't know, we enjoy that kind of tension and, like, you know, race to the end.
We love parks.
Yeah.
So this being reminiscent is quite nice. And I think there's a lot here that kind of will make the game vary a bit, game to game. So the breed awards are always the same, but they're same types of dog, because obviously there's only those types of dog. But they're all randomized, so you'll be going for different breeds of dog each time. And locations. So here you get a location bonus card for every round. And these will, if you're in a lower player count game, block off spaces to make the path more tight, but also provide rewards and extra actions on these spaces. So this one here will say that you also put a stick on here. So the first person there will get a tennis ball and a stick.
So another thing to think about.
And that's quite nice as well, to give this variety every time you go through it.
Yeah, another sort of crunchy decision as well. Should I race it? Because the location bonus might be all the way down here on the trail, and do you want to race to get there? But you get a little something extra, but then you know, you've raced ahead and missing out on all those resources. So there's something else that also makes the game variable, which is these, what are they called actually?
Forecast.
The forecast cards.
Yeah.
So that's just a little extra bonus each round.
Or a penalty sometimes.
Or a penalty, that's true. So it might be, in this round, every working dog you take on a walk, get an extra tennis ball or whatever it might be. So again,
Things
something
like
else to think about. Maybe you weren't going for working dogs with your original strategy.
Yeah, here we go. It's like during home time, gain 3 reputation points for each toy dog in your kennel or on your lead.
Okay, yeah. So again, that's tying to the resources that you collect. So the different forecast bonuses or penalties might relate to the different rounds at home time or when you go for the walk. So again, these are
very similar to, maybe not, because obviously they're different, but they're very similar to the scoring tiles in Wingspan, because with that you look ahead and look at them, and they influence how you'll play for the entire game. These are similar because, you know, if at the end, if in the final one you're getting points for having toy dogs in your kennel, then you're going to be more likely to go for them if you've looked ahead. So then you kind of shape up, or it might alter how you play in a round. And
it's just another thing that links all of the phases together quite nicely as well, because each phase is a different mechanic, but they tie together so nicely to create the overall round. And then that's just something else as you go through. That ties to the dog selection, or that might tie to the trail, or and everything just gets wrapped up in a nice, neat bow at the end of the game, even though they're, very distinctive phases.
So after you walk your dogs, you will go to the home phase, which is the final phase of a round, and it's basically just the standard cleanup phase. You'll put collars on your dogs to show that they have been walked that round. And for each dog you have walked that round, you will get 2 reputation points. You will lose a reputation point for each dog in your kennel that hasn't been walked in the entire game. And then, you know, maybe there might be something up here that comes into play in the forecast cards. But you generally just reset and then you'll start again, and you'll do this whole process 4 times and score up. And one thing that is quite nice as well is that there's definitely some maneuverability in where you go, because you could really go for dogs that will get you a lot of points in final scoring and aim towards that, and kind of just if you've seen someone's going for the gun dogs, and you're like, well, it's going to be difficult to catch up now. You can go for final scoring dogs and get loads of points at the end.
Yeah.
Or you can aim to have a lot of reputation points in the game. Or there's like different, or you can go for the awards or your objective. And there's all these different ways that you can kind of play a bit differently each time.
Yeah.
So I think this game is pretty great for replayability as well. Yeah. Also including the fact that there's like 200 plus dog cards.
Yeah.
Which you have to work through to see all of them and read the facts.
I was just about to say, so some other things that we love would be the artwork and the unique dog cards.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously everything looks really beautiful out on the table, very soothing artwork. The dogs are all super cute, and like you said, they are unique. We love the facts on the cards, which tell you a little bit about the dogs. That's always really cool and really appreciated. And yeah, everything's just super good quality. Obviously, this is a prototype copy, but we believe there's not too much to be changed.
No, I think the gameplay is pretty solid. I think one thing I would say, and that I hope is changed, because again, with a prototype, it's hard to say. But I think the colours on the cards could be altered a little bit to be more differential. Because one of the issues we've had at the moment is some of them, if you're not playing like a really brightly well-lit room with a light over it.
We live in Denmark, so...
Yeah, it's illegal. It's illegal to have good lighting in Denmark. But some of them just blend together a little too much, and when you, especially because the breed expert awards are important, you need to know what the dogs are up. And if you're sat across from the table, like even for me now, these, I mean, I can tell a difference, but we also have like lights on them, and they are pretty similar.
Yeah.
So there's just a little issue between some of the dog colours that differentiate what breed they are, or category they're in.
And it is important to be able to see what other people have in their kennel
that's actually the main issue I had, is that because of these breed awards, you need to look across at everyone and see what they have at a glance, and just the way the colours are at the moment. I don't know if it's just a prototype, but it is a little bit hard to see, particularly I think with the kind of greenish and greenish yellow ones. Yeah. And then I think, honestly, there's not really many issues we have. I think the only thing that I would maybe personally, that rubs me up the wrong way personally, is in the walk section, what you have this penalty for when you're the last player out, and you'll lose 1 reputation point. And that doesn't sound too bad, but actually, because everyone else is most of the time getting reputation points, it's actually a swing of between 2 and 4. It's a loss of 2 at least if the person who was right in front of you takes a point. So it's a little worse than it appears, because every other player is getting points. So it's a bigger swing than you think, which is fine. Again, I don't mind that. But the issue is that if you're the last person out, you get warped to the end. So if you're like lower down in the turn order, you don't get as many turns as other players, or you could not get as many turns just by the fortune of being kind of at the back of the turn order. So I think I would prefer it to be that you would get 1 final turn if that was the case, and then kind of warp, to the end.
Balance it out.
Yeah, at the moment it feels like a double punishment, and it just feels a little bit too harsh for me. A little bit too unfair. And I think this isn't such a problem in 4-player or 2-player games, because you were equal number of players. But what happened with our 3-player game is, we've already talked about how it's important, it's beneficial to be the last player when you're bidding, and it's beneficial to be the first player when you're walking. Because you just by virtue of turn order, you will likely get to the end first if all things are equal. In terms of how many turns people take, and like average of how much they walk. And if you have a 3-player game, it means that somebody is going to be first and last twice. I just think because of this kind of issue that you can get shut out from getting this like turn that you kind of deserve. It can maybe unbalance the I don't know if it would unbalance it enough to have any real impact, but it's just something I found that it felt like a little bit unfair if you're last twice, and then you get cut out of getting like, in that you don't get like loads more goods. You just get like the same amount of goods because you lost a turn, but you walk to the end and get punishment kind of thing.
Yeah.
I think that's just the only thing for me in gameplay terms.
I would also like to see a street dog representation.
Oh yeah, this was our idea, right?
For Sven, just to represent all the non-pedigree breeds out there, representing for my little Sven boy.
So yeah, the idea was, because these are all breeds, we're like, we want a street dog, a mutt, because we have one and we have no idea what he is, and it should be a wild card.
Yeah,
because he could be anything.
It could be.
And then you just use it. You have a few street dogs in there, and they could be anything, and they're like super powerful.
And the power could be like on a wheel, and it'd be like, "Oh, what's he gonna do now?"
Yeah,
you just don't know.
But yeah, so I don't know. Is there anything else we want to cover? Because I think we've covered everything. My thoughts.
I think so. I think we can go to our final thoughts now,
and we will return with the dogs. So, in terms of final thoughts, who's Dog Park for? Well, it's for a lot of people. It's for people that love dogs, obviously, especially if they're board gamers. But it has low complexity, so there's an ease of entry here, yet it's constantly filled with meaningful decisions and crunchy gameplay. So this is a perfect game for families, for sure, and really lighter board gamers, medium weight board gamers. And I just think, this is something we would introduce to our family, but that's because we both have big dog families.
Yeah.
But I think, if you like the artwork, all this stuff, I think there's a lot to like here, and I think it's for a lot of people.
Yeah, the artwork is wonderful. It has really great table presence. The doggos are all super cute. The production quality is really great. So we would recommend it if you like the look of Dog Park.
Yes, and you can see our dogs being weirdos right here.
Thank you.
And they 100% approve of Dog Park, the paw of approval. But yeah, so please go check it out on Kickstarter. The link will be down below. And the people behind this, Jack and Lottie Hazel, are absolutely lovely people. So please support them.
Yeah.
Please go check it out. Please back Dog Park. And we've had a great time playing it.
Yeah.
And we will in the future. And if this video was helpful, we'd really appreciate it if you could like and subscribe. And obviously, if you have any questions at all, just ask us down below in the comments. And if you subscribe, we will give the dogs treats.
Treats.
So, do you want them to go without treats?
Definitely not.
No. But thank you for watching, and we hope it was helpful. Thanks.
Bye.